GM Builders, in this Waku Builder Spotlight, we'll be meeting a team called Mr.Fox. Mr.Fox is one of the most interesting projects from EthIndia. So Pranav, can you start by introducing Mr.Fox and the team behind Mr.Fox?
So my name is Pranav Singhal. I'm a Web3 founder. Me, along with my co-founder Arvind Kalra, are working on Mr.Fox, which is basically a prompt-driven app that lets you interact with Web3. The primary problem that you're trying to solve is dApp discovery, where new users who join Web3 have no idea which dApps to use, what to do in Web3. So to solve that problem, we are using a large language model. And basically, instead of using a UI, we are allowing users to talk to Web3 using Mr.Fox. So in this conversation with Mr.Fox, what I'm asking Mr.Fox to do is basically swap some of my meeting to DAI. And what Mr.Fox is doing is he's making sure that I get all the allowance. So it asks me that, you have enough balance, but you don't have allowance. So you need to give me allowance. Now, for a normal user, they might not know what it means, so as a result, Mr.Fox will just, walk them through that process. Once I've given the allowance, it's just going to ask me to sign another transaction. And it's also going to keep explaining what each transaction is doing. And after that, it's just going to say that your balance has been swapped. There are other things that you can do as well. So, for example, I tend to do a little bit of whale watching. So, here I'm just going to ask Mr.Fox to show me how the portfolio of this particular whale is doing. And what Mr.Fox will do is basically give me, their current wallet's value. And then I can also ask them to, plot their performance over the past year. And it's going to give me this, a graph of how the wallet has actually performed over the past year. And in all of this, you don't have to really worry about which protocols we're using behind the scenes, which means we are, kind of infinitely expandable.
That's amazing. So my second question is, how is Mr.Fox using Waku behind the hood?
We host a node of Waku at our end, which is the one where Mr.Fox is connected. And then all the users who connect to Mr.Fox basically create a channel and use that to interact our node running with Mr.Fox. So it's kind of like the communication layer between the node connected to the LLM and the users.
Cool. So do you have any future plans for scaling Mr.Fox?
Generally, what we plan to do is basically have everybody running their own Mr.Fox. So right now, our users are completely reliant on us keeping the node alive. But imagine if everybody could stake some ETH, run their own Mr.Fox, and depending on how many users they respond to, how many threads they can keep active, they get rewards on that. So not only are users getting value from it, but people who are running, a Waku instance and providing us with an LLM get rewarded for, adding more nodes to the network. So that basically, incentivizes on both sides and also helps us scale Mr.Fox. We don't have to worry about keeping the node alive, paying for all the credits of, running an LLM just by ourselves.
My final question is, how was your building experience with Waku at the hackathon? And do you have any specific feedback to the team?
I'll start with the most obvious thing that I loved about Waku, which, I wish my co-founder was here to attest for that. But it was basically how intuitive the SDK is very limited setup required to actually get it running. And it is only doing what is absolutely required to start a communication channel, which means that it adds infinite flexibility on what we can do with it. On the constructive side, what I'll say is that we were discussing this a while back. It's the logs that tend to scare us. So, the Waku SDK tries to connect to a lot of nodes, and most of them will fail before it actually connects to a running node. And to somebody who's building, they won't realize that those are expected. Beyond that, I think the documentation is very well. So I think that's one small part, constructive feedback that I'll have for the team.
Thanks for your time, Pranav. It was great chatting with you. And for everyone else out there, make sure to join our Discord for future updates. And please don't hesitate to ask us if you have any questions. See you.